Local 3 traffic presented by CHI Memorial. Interested in making a career change? We've increased starting pay for RNs, respiratory therapists, patient care techs, and other clinical and non-clinical staff. Apply at memorial.org/careers.
All right, taking a look outside, those drive times again. Everything is moving quite nicely out there, so we'll let you know if that changes. And there's a look at a couple of the splits. Again, moving nice and smoothly. Well, if you're headed to work, don't forget, the news continues all day long inside our app.
Local 3 News today continues right now.
This is Local 3 News today.
A woman is recovering this morning after an alleged kidnapping. Hear how police rescued her.
Was a man treated unfairly at a local jail because of his disability? We'll talk to both sides. Good morning, I'm Calvin Sneed in for Paul Shahen this morning.
And I'm Michelle Herron. We hope you're waking up to this wonderful, terrific Tuesday.
That's right. You know, we were just talking about Little Debbie's. There's something, you know, with the park that's opening up in Collegedale in the next few weeks. They're going to be having sculptures in the form of Little Debbie snacks. So what are we going to have for like an oatmeal?
Yeah.
Is it like this round thing or something? I mean, how do they?
It could be like a merry-go-round.
Yeah, they need to send us. The Little Debbie's people need to send us. Let us know what these sculptures look like, because it sounds like fun. I mean, you know, not just for the kiddies. Calvin wants to see it too.
Well, whether you're maybe eating cereal, eggs, and bacon, or maybe people are starting the day with a Little Debbie snack, right? That could be your morning time snack with a cup of coffee. Let's get you out the door right and let you know what to expect as far as the weather goes. So for today, once again, we're going to have some rain. In fact, rounds of rain all the way through Friday. That low pressure system I showed you yesterday, it's still close to our area, and it's just going to kind of fluctuate north, south, east, west a little bit in the days to come. And that's going to bring us those kind of continuations, that repetition of some showers and storms. Now, during this period of time, we're also going to experience below normal temperatures, really focusing on those high temperatures being below normal, and muggy conditions. So you're probably going to notice that the air is going to feel a little bit more humid in the days to come than what we've really seen so far this summer. Now, it will be drier again, though, with lower rain chances and hotter just in time for the weekend. So great news for your outdoor plans on Saturday and Sunday. Here's the check of the radar right now, and it is certainly a lot cleaner than what we saw yesterday morning at this time. There are a few spots of a few sporadic showers up to the north, but I want to draw your eye down to the south, kind of zoom in there. That's where we've been tracking, small in size, but a couple of downpours really all morning long. So this one is pushing into Fort Payne right along I-59. Starting to see some lighter rainfall in the Trenton area on I-59. Still up on the mountain, though, you have those heavier downpours. That's going to sink into the valley too over the next 15 minutes or so. So really seeing both of these moving from Alabama into northwest Georgia as we continue forward in time. That's associated with the cold front that's trailing that low pressure system. Now, right now, the heaviest rain and storms is well to the east and south of our area. But as this low rotates around today, it's going to trigger additional scattered to even numerous at times showers and storms, particularly from about noon until 9 p.m. We'll really time that out with a look at your hourly forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Allison. Chattanooga police investigating a reported kidnapping. It happened about 10:40 yesterday morning on Brainerd Road. Witnesses reportedly saw a man take a woman by force and then drive away. Police then got another call saying the victim had temporarily escaped near Wilcox Boulevard, but the suspect was able to take the woman again and flee from officers. That's when the chase began. The suspect striking several vehicles, eventually crashing. 29-year-old Michael Walker was taken into custody. Police found the victim in the back seat, suffering from stab wounds. She's now in the hospital, expected to be okay.
In Athens, a body was found in a wooded area at the corner of Decatur Pike and Clark Street. The body was that of a white male. It was found on the ground in the woods around 2:40 yesterday afternoon. The body has been taken to the medical examiner's office. The person's identity and cause of death has not been revealed.
A Dalton man says he was treated unfairly in the Murray County Jail because of his disability.
Local 3's Riley Nagel joins us now live in the studio this morning and has more on what the man hopes will happen next. Good morning, Riley.
Good morning, Michelle, Calvin. Josh Owenby says he was born with arthrogryposis, a muscle disorder. He says it wasn't until he was behind bars at Murray County Jail where he realized just how serious his disability is. Now, this all started back in 2020 when he had an argument with his girlfriend. He says about a month later, he was arrested and charged with simple battery, reckless conduct, and disorderly conduct. Owenby says he missed his first court date due to being in the hospital with back issues. He was told his public defender would submit his paperwork on his behalf, but a month later he found out he had a warrant for failing to show up to court.
I called the public defender's office and he told me that, or the secretary had told me that my public defender had switched counties to Whitfield County, and my paper that I had brought to her office was still in my file, and she wasn't sure why it didn't get taken care of.
Owenby turned himself in and would spend the next 4 weeks in jail. Because of his condition, Owenby says he can't bathe himself and didn't shower for 4 weeks. We went to the Murray County Sheriff's Office to ask why Owenby wasn't allowed proper care, and Sheriff Jimmy Davenport said in a statement, in part, inmate Owenby refused numerous times during his incarceration to allow the medical staff or jail staff to assist him in removing the braces from his legs, and he refused help with the accessible handicap shower chair to bathe. Owenby says his treatment in jail wasn't right, and he wants jail officials to be held accountable. Reporting in studio, I'm Riley Nagel. Michelle, Calvin.
All right, thank you, Riley. In Nashville, Covenant School students will go back to class this fall at their temporary site and not at the main campus. Students will attend classes at the Brentwood Hills Church of Christ, about 10 minutes down the road from the Covenant School campus. The church became the temporary school beginning in early April after the mass shooting back on March 27th.
2 of the 3 parents who lost children in that shooting filed documents Friday to encourage a judge not to allow the release of the shooter's writings. The DeCoste family wrote in part, quote, "As one of the families going through such deep grieving of losing their loved one after simply dropping her off at school, we hope a more respectful, clear view can truly start to occur to help make a change that does not include releasing volumes of leverage for others planning similar devastation in this nation." A judge is expected to decide on July 12th whether or not the shooter's writings will be released to the public. Coming up on Local 3 News Today.
Manufacturing jobs making a comeback. Find out what's holding back the workers to fill those jobs.
Good morning. We have a few areas of some patchy fog that have developed during the overnight hours. We're not seeing it super widespread because we also have mostly cloudy skies, and usually we have those clouds that prevents that fog development. But what we're going to notice is some of that fog over to the east, just had a little bit of an adjustment to the map there, and then also through the Sequatchie Valley, particularly some of those extending valleys going up into the plateau down to Jackson County. So kind of those typical spots that you may run into fog on your morning time commute. Probably has a little bit this morning, so I wanted to make sure that you had that heads up. Now, temperature-wise, heading out the door, most of our area in the 60s. In fact, Athens, Dalton, Scottsboro, all exactly at 68 degrees. Here in the Scenic City, we're sitting at 70 degrees at this time as we're approaching 6:09 a.m. As we take a look ahead to your hour-by-hour forecast today, up briefly at 8 a.m., kind of partly sunny, but most of the day today will be mostly cloudy. 75 degrees at 10 a.m., 80 by 2 o'clock. And so we're really looking at highs today, ranging from about 75 to 81. Now, you're also going to notice these icons up here. That's the scattered to even numerous shower and storm activity. So once you get hit with one of those bursts of rain, you have that rain-cooled air, so your temperature goes down. So this may fluctuate hourly dependent on that rain coverage. But what I really want to point out to you is you're going to notice from noon all the way through this hour-by-hour forecast, in fact, really until about 9 p.m. tonight, that'll be the window of time that we're going to have the greatest rain and storm chances. Now, today, there's really not a risk of severe weather. We had that low-end risk yesterday for an isolated severe storm areas east of Chattanooga. That didn't pan out, thankfully. So any kind of storms yesterday that produced that wind damage were well to the south of us and over to the east too. So again, today when we're talking about these thunderstorms, it's just going to be some general storms. We'll time it out more in detail. A future cast coming up in just a few more minutes.
Thank you, Allison. Well, manufacturing jobs making a comeback after the pandemic almost wiped them out 3 years ago. Now, plenty of jobs, but not enough workers to fill them.
Local 3's Liam Collins explains the problem and a possible solution.
So that they can really keep up to speed with technology, because
Denise Hall sees big changes in the future of manufacturing. She predicts computers, technology, and artificial intelligence will soon change everything.
automation and technology is not going to replace jobs, but they are going to change the way jobs are done.
The National Association of Manufacturing says 1.4 million jobs were lost during the pandemic. Now potential workers are seeing a different landscape. Some 700,000 jobs are unfilled, partially because of a shortage of people with the proper training on new technology. Hall says peak performance and the SMART Institute's mission is to close that gap.
And that's where we're really focused on making sure that we're developing the workforce, both emergent workers that are in school and also people that are already in the workforce.
The SMART Institute is a part of the Pi Center in Bradley County. It's a manufacturing training center that provides modern training for the next generation of manufacturing employees. Hall says it's the solution to struggles in recruiting.
Manufacturing is growing so quickly in the southeast area of the U.S. There's a lot of reasons why that it's attracted here.
Manufacturing jobs could look very different in 10 years as technology like artificial intelligence and interconnectivity of devices leads to different ways to use the workforce.
So there will be a lot of jobs that are available from technology, but they're going to be different than the way that we see them today.
And that was Liam Collins with that story. The SMART Institute is having its SMART Expo from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on August 10th. And there's more information on our website and inside our app.
And coming up on Local 3 News today.
After a wet start to the week, is more rain on the way? Allison Pryor breaks it all down in her full forecast coming up next.
Good morning and a very happy Tuesday to you. I wanted to start off with a little bit of a bigger long-term picture right here and talk about the next 7 days. So first up, let's talk rain chances because we do have a little bit of an active weather pattern. So this is all due to that low pressure system. It's what brought us that rain yesterday, and it's going to be with us today, tomorrow, Thursday, and even into Friday. So all 4 of these days, maybe don't just hone in on the exact percentage, but just know scattered to numerous showers and storms are going to be possible. As we look ahead to the weekend, though, just in time for your Saturday and Sunday outdoor plans, maybe going to the pool, going on a hike, whatever it may be, those rain chances are going to drop down. And then we'll see some scattered activity again by the time we get to Monday of next week. Now, during this period, even though we see an up and a down in our rain chances, there's really not going to be a change in our humidity. High end of that humid category, even the low end of that very muggy category. So this is some of the most humid air we've had so far for this year as we're getting kind of to the end of June and getting near to July. This is typical that you're going to start to notice that sticky, soupy air, certainly outside. Now, high temperatures aren't necessarily going to be typical in the days to come. In fact, 88 would be our normal high today, tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, all certainly below that. In fact, Wednesday and Thursday, high temperatures only in the 70s. Now, by the weekend, it's going to heat back up again. In fact, by Sunday, 90 degrees. So you do get to enjoy that warmer weather for the weekend, lower rain chances, which will pair well with those summertime activities. Just in the next few days during the work week, keep the raincoat and umbrella handy. So what's happening outside right now? Well, here's a check of our cloud cover map, and you can see some of the densest clouds across our Tennessee and North Carolina communities. Dependent on your location in Georgia and in Alabama, you may see a few breaks in the clouds, which means it's partly sunny right now for you as we are getting to that twilight dawn time, almost to sunrise. But pretty quickly overall today, we'll have mostly cloudy skies. Here's the big picture, and notice this slight rotation around that helps identify where the low is, creating this comma-shaped cloud. And when I switch over to the radar, you can then see that low. Now, any kind of big rain and storms at this hour are well to the east and well to the south of us, but I'm going to zoom back in locally because we do have a couple of spots where you may run into some raindrops this morning. Again, we've been watching these 2 downpours all morning long as those are tracking out of Alabama and into Georgia, and then a few sporadic light showers and sprinkles here and there in Tennessee. Not a whole lot of activity during the morning time hours. The partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies at 9 a.m. a combination of 60s and 70s, but a couple of isolated showers will be possible. But see how that really blossoms up into the afternoon. Really from about noon to 9 p.m. that's when we're going to have the waves of scattered to numerous storms across our area. Now, those red colors indicate the heavier downpours. Each one of those pretty small in size, but then you have that extension of the green indicating some lighter rainfall outside of that. Highs today ranging from about 75 to 81, but if you get that rain over you, you'll end up seeing those temperatures drop with some rain-cooled air. Now, by once 8:30, 9 o'clock, that kind of dwindles down, just isolated activity overnight. And then by about sunrise time Wednesday morning, starting to see a few more of those showers and storms roll through. And that'll be the story for your Wednesday. Additional activity of rain and storms, highs only in the 70s for Wednesday. And then on Thursday, even during the early morning before the sun comes up, a little bit of rain. So yes, I know I kind of sound like a broken record because we just had this repetition of showers and storms in the days to come. The good news is we are behind in rain, so this is helpful rain to our area, about 1 to 3 inches expected by the time we get to the end of the day on Friday. So hopefully your lawns will enjoy it. We'll just need to keep an eye in the days to come if any of those storms roll over the same area, if those rain totals add up, without have that slight flooding risk. But right now it looks like the lawns can handle it. Now, temperatures as you head out the door, most spots are in the 60s. We do have 70 in Chattanooga and 70 in Dayton at this time. Afternoon highs today ranging from about 75 to 81, 80 in Chattanooga, Cleveland, Athens, 78 for that high in Dalton. Tonight, once again, those low temperatures falling to the 60s. And then as we look ahead to tomorrow, highs in the mid to upper 70s as those showers and storms continue. Today's wind is going to be variable. Tomorrow, we're mainly going to be from that northeast breeze with the way that low pressure is going to set up across our area. 70s for Thursday, 82 on Friday, and then the heat builds back up on Saturday and Sunday.
I've got so much to do tomorrow, and you know why?
Why?
Because it's the longest day of the year. It's the summer solstice, right?
It sure is. It sure is.
And as I read somewhere, it's going to be the only time when you've got like 8 a.m. and 8 p.m., you got the same amount of daylight.
Going through that. And that'll depend for your latitude and everything. But yeah, so you get it's just a nice day.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. All
We'll
right.
talk more about that tomorrow. If you
All right.
stick around with us, you can get it.
Hey, if Paul is sick,
You can be here.
we hope he gets well, though. We hope he gets well because we need to have him here. All right. Thanks, Allison.
Let's go outside right now to take a look at your morning commute. So here we have I-24 east of Browns Ferry Road and the I-24 I-75 split. Things are moving smoothly out there, and we hope it continues to stay that way. I think it helps that there's not wet roads this morning.
We don't need the wet roads right now.
No, we don't. Coming up on Local 3 News today.
Paul Shahen introduces us to a golf pro with his fun story in this week's On Par with Paul. That's coming up next.
Local 3 traffic presented by CHI Memorial. Interested in making a career change? We've increased starting pay for RNs, respiratory therapists, patient care techs, and other clinical and non-clinical staff. Apply at memorial.org/careers.
Good morning and a very happy Tuesday to you. As we go through our weather headlines, this is what you need to know before heading out the door, and probably a good idea to have the raincoat handy. Rounds of rain for today all the way through Friday, so scattered to numerous showers and storms possible over the next 4 days. We're also going to have below normal temperatures, and it'll be muggy outside. Drier and hotter, though, in time for the weekend and those outdoor plans, maybe for the pool and the boat. Today, highs ranging from about 75 to 80. The most likely rain from noon until 9 p.m.
On Par with Paul, sponsored by Linderman's Furniture. Shop now and save at Linderman's Furniture, North Georgia's best kept secret.
Welcome back to On Par with Paul, everybody. We've got a few first times on Par with Paul today. First time at Lake Tansi Resort Golf Course, and the first time we have interviewed someone who has given the legendary Bear Bryant a golf lesson. That's where we welcome in former Alabama golfer Gavin Darbyshire, head pro out here. Gavin, we're going to get into that Bear Bryant story indeed, because, well, who honestly can say that they've given Bear Bryant a lesson?
This is hole 17. Chosen it because it's pretty typical of a lot of the holes out here. It's a very pretty hole, very picturesque. We've got a little water which fronts the green, so it's challenging. It's not overly long. It's 412 yards long from the back set of tees. The perfect tee shot is long and kind of right center. That's perfect.
Hey, one take, remember that. Teased it a little bit earlier. So you're on the driving range practicing.
Yeah.
And who walks up to you and asks what?
Well, Mr. Bryant was out there and he was hitting some balls and he was struggling. He just had an operation.
Yeah.
He said, son, you play for the school? And I said, yes, sir, Mr. Bryant. He said, you mind watching me hit a few and see if you can help me? It was just such an honor, really, you know.
Yeah.
I went to school there for a couple years, and by the end of the second year, I could start to kind of understand what he was saying when he was kind of growling and talking.
I'm going to tell you how I would handle that. Bear Bryant duffs one into the water. Great shot, Mr. Bear Bryant. Great shot, thank you. Would you like me to go get it for you?
and you've hit a great drive. You're in a great spot, but there's challenges up there. First of all, you got to carry the water.
Right, I think
Then
it's
after
deep.
that, come on down. There's kind of a false front, and you want to get it up on the green.
Yeah.
But if you go too deep into the green, you've got a pretty big slope that comes back.
When you heard Gavin say false front, this is what you mean. That's the pin. This is the incline, and that's the back off the green here. This is the putt that, honestly, for me, nightmares are made of.
It's a challenge to keep it on the green. Boy, good touch there.
That was the mark I wanted. It was not quite enough still.
Stop.
It's a beautiful hole, yes. Straight away, par 4.
But there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Paul met a family from Trenton, Georgia in the parking lot before we started shooting. They were up. He said every year they come here for 5 days, play a little golf. Gavin, you picked one heck of a hole. Let's just take a second look back right now. I mean, it really is a very pretty hole. This is hole number 17 at Lake Tansi Resort Golf Course. If you ever want to play it, come on out. If you ever want to hear a Bryant story, you know where to find them.